Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel, and we continue. We've got over 2,800 of these available for your listening pleasure. Some better than others, obviously, and wrestling in this era is unique to say the least. Obviously, I prefer old school stuff before 1998 or so, but the modern product needs acknowledgement too, I suppose. We go back to Impact Against All Odds. Results, Alexander and Doring are what's here, and this is actually better than the WWE shows this week, so we'll acknowledge it. Black Taurus defeats Laredo Kid during the pre-show again. Why does a television show need a pre-show? Who knows? Anyway, Brian Myers defeats Rich Swann to win the Impact Digital Media uh, title in a combat match. Swann does a dive onto Myers early in the match, rules the match, make this a no DW match, no count out either, and ultimately Myers hits Swann with a ring light, and Swann uses a light cord. Crowd starts chanting for Swann. Using a computer monitor, he places pieces of the computer in the corner of the ring, but Myers catches him, cuts him off. Swann gets hit with a DDT. Swann catches Myers with a fireman's carry. Spiked him into the computer pots with a death belly driver into the corner. Crowd goes nuts. Swann starts hitting Myers with the monitor. Swann then places the monitor in between the ropes and in the corner, but Myers catches Swann and he wasn't paying attention. Irish whips him into things head first, and the monitor shatters. The frame hangs above, and in the end, Myers blasted Swann with a keyboard before sending him into the roster cut running lariat from the corner for the win. And Myers is your new digital media champion. A bout just for the sake of a bout, but hey, it's here. Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin defeat Bullet Club, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin. This is great, mainly in part due to all four guys having similar styles that actually work well together. And Ace Austin, I still think, is the best thing Impact has going. Austin recently joins the Bullet Club. Shelley and Bay have a quick exchange early before Sabin and Austin are in the ring together. Sabin then catches Austin with a big leg lariat. Austin answers with a leg sweep. And off we are to the races. The Atlanta crowd is split 50-50 between the Bullet Club and the Motor City Machine Guns. Shelley catches Austin with a diving double stomp for a near fall that looks pretty brutal. Bay tries to skin the cat, gets over, but just barely. Austin shows off good footwork, dodging a few attacks on the apron. Shelley then cartwheels out of the way, hoping to grab him. Bay then hits him with a follow-up somersault senton on the floor. Both Bay and Austin does flashy back rakes to Shelley, and then he's in the corner. Announcer Hannafan hits a great line after this. El Fantasmo is saying, "Cool, man," he says. Sabin makes it back into the ring later. Fresh Sabin's able to take out both Bay and Austin with a body press and a double lariat. Sabin then enters a close near fall after being rolled into the fisherman's suplex later, and then there's a double dive flatliner and a missile drop kick to lay out both Bullet Club members. Then Austin takes Sabin out with a head scissors stomp for a 2 count. Shelley tags back in, and he hoisted Bay onto his shoulders, and Sabin knocks Bay off of Shelley's shoulders with another missile drop kick, doomsday device like effect. Sabin strikes the cradle shot on Bay for his trouble. Crowd is very into this on both sides. Motor City Machine Guns follow up and put the Bullet Club away with a double team suplex firebomb combo for the win. Backstage, GM interviews the Good Brothers, Heath, and America's Most Wanted. Heath then is fired up and tells Honor No More to kiss their tail. Tonight marks the first time America's Most Wanted teamed in 15 years. During the promo, Harris said he's got a little stuff left in his basement, implying he's still ready to wrestle. Honor No More says that they're on trial tonight. Chelsea Green and Deanna Purrazzo face off against face off against Mia Yim and Mickey James. Um, it is a mashup of a match, and I've got to grab my phone. We'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail with more right after this. And again, without any major doubts or anything like that, we certainly have, a mismatch of a match. Chelsea Green, Deanna Purrazzo defeating Mia Yim and Mickey James. Um, Both of them have kind of been loosely affiliated in the past. Green and Purrazzo attacked their opponents before the bell. The crowd is actually chanting "Ring the bell" before the bell, so they're into just about everything. Purrazzo and Green double team their way back into the match, keeping Yim in their corner, switching in and out. Yim then manages to finally tag out, and Mickey James takes out Green for a Thez press. Crowd is into that. Purrazzo then slows the pace after the near fall, wrenching on James's chin and hitting a face lock for her trouble. The announcers then do a decent enough job putting over how close Purrazzo and Green are as a women's tag team division heating up a little bit. James is able to dodge Purrazzo with the Virtuosa hitting a spear in the corner. Purrazzo then comes back and crashes into the ring post. James tags out to Yim, and she now recovers. James and Yim hit the double team attack from the top rope. Green and Purrazzo knock them off. Green and Purrazzo then go for the double team spinebuster neckbreaker finish, but that doesn't come together the way they planned it. So the beginning of the finish is awkward, but eventually, Green's leg nails it, and the ladies get the victory. Backstage, Honor No More, Eddie Edwards doesn't like the idea of PCO being part of tonight's match with the group. Vincent convinced Edwards that Impact is still trying to get in his head about PCO. Then we go to X Division champion Speedball Mike Bailey defeating Trey Miguel to retain the championship. I don't remember that championship change. Anyway, Miguel has very deep blue eyes here. Bailey offers a handshake to start things off. Miguel takes Bailey down, and they go back into the ring. Springboard headlock takeover. Bailey then responds, catching Miguel with a beautiful run of things. Bailey then goes for the standing double knee drop. Doesn't get what he wants on that. He goes for the double moonsault. But Miguel puts the knees up and blocks it and crashes him in. Then exchanges standing kicks before dragging dragon screw leg whips. Bailey blasts Miguel with the PK before landing a moonsault knee drop into the small of Miguel's back. Bailey then switches positions for moves so that it lines up vertically with Miguel's body. Insane deal for whatever it is. Anyway, Miguel then goes for the Meteor before landing on the knees, and both guys are back and forth. Miguel does the no hands Rana from the apron to the floor, leaps over the top rope without assistance, catches Bailey with the legs and flips him right upside down. Later, he's still on the apron. Bailey uses another Ultimate Weapon moonsault knee drop and a vertical. Miguel then lies face first on the apron. Bailey lands onto Miguel's midsection. Bailey lands spiral roundhouse kick in the corner. Miguel lands a running Meteora. Crowds on their feet as this is very back and forth. And if you like these high intensity matches, this is for you. Miguel then goes right into the finish top rope. Bailey is able to wrap Miguel into a cradle and walk to the center of the ring and spiked him with a flamingo driver for the win. Bailey retains the X Division Championship, and the crowd is happy with that. Then we go to, I guess, what you consider the semi-main event, Impact Knockout Tag Team Champions Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary defeating Julie Shaw and Tenille Dashwood with Madison Rayne retaining the title. The crowd likes the team of Valkyrie and Rosemary. They have a long history in the area. Then there's a sliding German suplex by Valkyrie. And then Rosemary goes after Shaw. Crowd is in strong support of Rosemary. Shaw and Valkyrie exchanged hard chops. Shaw then catches Valkyrie with a running uppercut. For a 2 count, Shaw then seems to rehash the new heel role that she's in. Chance for a Rosemary breakout. She's probably one of the most over on the show. Dashwood lands a running crossbody in the corner, laying out Rosemary. Shaw does a dive out onto Rosemary, but didn't get all of everything she wanted in that. Valkyrie scores a sudden cradle pin to win the match. Rosemary and Valkyrie retain the tag titles, and then we go. Masha Slamovich music hits as the Mean Girls are headed back. Slamovich then appears and the entrance and hands Dashwood an envelope and walks away. Dashwood opens the envelope. She finds a picture of herself with a big red X on it. Dashwood and Slamovich are headed on a collision course, one would believe. Backstage, Speedball Mike Bailey is interviewed, and he applied and challenged anyone for the X Division Championship starting coming up next. Then we see Impact Tag Team Champions Good Brothers, America's Most Wanted, and Heath defeat Honor No More, Taven, Kenny King, Mike Bennett, Eddie Edwards, and PCO with Maria Kanellis. Anderson and Good Brothers and Edwards are first out on their teams. Good Brothers double team Taven next. Heath gets Taven's 10 punches in the corner. Heath is certainly not a guy that, unless you like sports entertainment, you're going to really be into. James Storm's able to spark a comeback and comes back on Honor No More. Crowd gets loud. Storm's able to carry Chris Harrison into the match. They then go through a number of double team maneuvers with each other. Honor No More member one by one. The crowd's excited to see this classic team back. PCO comes in. James Storm hip tosses him off to the floor. Crowd does a few PCO chants. And then PCO leaves Honor No More with Taven tagged in. PCO is out of the match with PCO having his back turned, tagging himself into the match. PCO comes back into the match, and he hits lariats on everybody, sending them out of the ring. PCO teases a dive to the floor. Eddie Edwards tags PCO back in, and he bounces off the ropes. Crowd boos at that. Bennett, Anderson, King, and Gallows all trade spine busters. The match unfolds into a series of big power maneuvers. King yells at PCO to get his tail on the ropes for PCO salt, but PCO drives everyone else to the floor. Unfortunately, PCO's wires circuited because he flips on the ropes and onto the apron before making any contact with the wrestlers on the floor. This doesn't go very well. Back in the ring, America's Most Wanted hit the death sentence on King, picking up the win. Sounds like the fans are almost into everything. Chris Harrison, James Storm getting the greatest hits together. And then Raven appeared on the stage when the announcers, Matt Reinwald and Tona Hannafan, do commentary with them for the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. Then we go to Moose defeating Sami Callihan in the Clockwork Orange House of Fun contest. I guess this show goes longer than I imagined. Anyway, Moose defeats Sami Callihan in that match. Moose spears Callihan before the match and smashes him onto the floor. Callihan then throws a chair at him, but Moose responds with a pump kick, knocking Callihan over. Raven on commentary does some interesting things. And then Callihan dumps Moose out of the ring, through a table on the floor, back body drop for his trouble. Raven asks on commentary why anyone would care about the Atlanta Falcons. They set up a door in the corner. GCW chant responds, and Callihan responds with an insult for GCW. Callihan later puts Moose down with a Death Valley bomb onto a panel of chairs and a chain link fence. And then Moose bashes Callihan with an empty glass bottle. Callihan digs into Moose's head with a broken glass. Callihan comes up on the top rope, attacking Moose with a choke for his trouble. Choke bombed him through a table. And then Moose takes off a stapler and eventually staples Callihan in the head. And Moose then follows up with a mystery item. Reinwald claims that it's Brad Pitt and a what's in the box reference here. And then Callahan goes to drill Moose with two cactus drivers onto Legos and then onto broken glass. He earns 2 counts, but that doesn't keep Moose down. Somebody in all black with a mask appears. Uh, Raven then asks the masked figure. Callahan low blows and then bashes him with a barbed wire baseball bat before Moose pins him. Callahan for the win. Macklin was actually posing as a cameraman the entire match until the end. Heath is backstage and tells Gia Miller that he is going to take Honor No More out one by one. Impact knocks out champion Jordana Grace defeats Tasha Steelz with Savannah Evans to retain. This will be your semi-main event. Steelz takes Grace out before the bell and then goes after her legs. Grace recovers quickly and ragdoll Steelz around the ring. Grace then goes to skin the cat back in the ring. She kicks Savannah Evans to the floor before flipping back in. Grace uses a hard shoulder block on Steelz and follows up with a few shots. Evans then gets involved with the match a few moments later and takes the champion's game plan out. Grace then powers back and then throws more hard shots. She then puts Steelz in the torture rack, then uses a few stiff standing lariats on Steelz before missing out on the double knee. Steelz then uses a close 2 count after a slingshot bulldog. Grace finally lands on Muscle Buster. Savannah Evans jumps onto the apron and distracts the ref. Referee then goes back. Steelz then kicks out and is able to land a big cutter for a 2 count. Steelz then goes to top rope, but Grace catches him with a jumping palm strike before sticking an impressive delayed superplex in the corner. Evans then is back on the apron, but Grace shoved Steelz into Evans, knocking Evans to the floor. Grace then goes on to drill Steelz with the Brutal Grace driver to put Steelz away from the win. Decent enough match, but didn't need to be on this long a show. Impact announced they'll be live in Chicago August 12th for Emergence. Impact World Championship Josh Alexander defeats Joe Doring with Cody Deaner to retain. I don't know. It's kind of here. Anyway, so they make the point of letting everybody know that Doring is a big deal. They put over time as the Triple Crown champion in All Japan. Doring gets the better of his opponent early on, throws Alexander to the floor. Alexander comes back and hits Doring, and then they brawl on the floor. Doring hits a running cross body block. Alexander ducks and puts Doring, rolls out onto the apron. Alexander dashes and hits him with a low blow, hits a running cross body. Later, back in the ring, Doring lands on Alexander with a single chop. Deaner then comes back in with a good instigating some heel-related tactics. Alexander turns tides and able to go off the second rope and drops a knee on the back and Doring's neck. He lands Doring overhead with the slingshot German suplex and Northern Light suplex for a near fall. Alexander then is able to take Doring down with a superplex. He then takes Cody Deaner out with another low cross body through the bottom rope. Doring then used the opportunity to take Alexander out with a big choke bomb, and that's not enough to keep him. Doring then finally connects with a running cross body for a near fall before nailing a running lariat. Doring then waits a little too long to go for the pinfall. Doring then hits the Revolution Bomb. Alexander slips out and locks on Doring. Standing ankle lock. Alexander then grapevines a leg on the ground. During the match, we see another big lariat. Some bands are chanting Samoa Joe for the lariats, even though he's not in the building. Doring then uses 2 more lariats on Alexander. Fans chant one more time. He then hits a clubbing Alexander in the corner with Vader-style forearms. Doring comes up with gets nailed with a C4 spike by Alexander for the win. And there you go. That's the close of the show. I mean, it's fine, but you can definitely see a difference in the quality of matches between Impact and AEW for sure. We'll be back with more right after this.